Hello, everyone. I am back today, and today we're talking about how to talk to men. And I think the principles I'm about to share can really be used in how to talk to anyone, but I often refer to getting that gut level emotional, oh my God, I can't live without her. I have to have her response from men. And that is what I'm touching on here. All of my programs in which I go a lot deeper on these principles and concepts and energies are linked in the description box below. So when we are talking to men, we are invoking different responses based on which part of their energy system or body we're activating, right? So when you're having a political discussion, for example, with someone, obviously you're in your mind, you're in your head, and they're in their head, right? So in that mode, you are head to head relating. Now, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like sometimes we'll have discussions like that with our husband or partner or colleagues or father or brother or friends or whatever. And that's all fun. But if you're on a date and that's all you're doing, just having the mind to mind interaction, both of you will leave the interaction feeling like, I like her, or I like him. But like, that's about it. Like, there's going to be this, like, something's missing kind of a vibe, because this head to head relating, he can get anywhere. He can do that with his coworkers. He can do that with his friends. He can do that with his family. What he's looking for in a relationship is that spark, that gut level, that emotional, oh my God, who is she? I want to be with her. I want to get to know her more, in like that in reaction, right? And that's not something that men can feel just with anyone. So that is something that they're actually searching for when they're looking for a relationship. So another thing we often do is we will be, like, I think this is more in families, so where you get that funny bone reaction, let's just call it that, where you're joking around and you're playing around and you're just being silly. And that's really, really fun. I see this really activated in siblings, right? Like where it's a lot of like picking on each other and it's all lighthearted and it's kind of fun. Men do this a lot with their friends. They do this a lot with their siblings, where there's this like back and forth kind of like picking on each other. Some of this is really great in while dating or in marriages. I think this is awesome because you can laugh together and everything can be very lighthearted and playful. So this is the, let's just say it's like the belly to belly reaction. It's like the funny bone, like ha ha ha, lighthearted, fun, play kind of activation. This is also really, really good on dates. So I want to, on a date, I would keep the mental to mental as limited as possible. Otherwise it turns into like this interview. And you want to keep like that fun, lighthearted bantering back and forth a little bit more. Now, the third kind, and this is the most important, is the heart to heart connection, right? So this is where you're in your feminine, your heart is activated, you've got warmth coming from your heart and you're in your body. And no matter what he's talking about, you're listening with presence. Okay. This is really, really hard for most women because we have been trained to be in our head the whole time. We also are very triggered by what he may be saying. This is kind of like the basic babe, self-aware Barbie, right? Where the basic babe will just be triggered by everything. And the self-aware Barbie wants to have all of these intellectual discussions, but neither of those will get the response that you are looking for. So I work with really high achieving boss babe, doctors, lawyers, CEOs. We've got dentists, architects. I think pretty much any field you can think of, I have either worked on one-on-one or in my students. I've got thousands of students from all over the world. And these women come in and they're brilliant. They've activated their genius, right? Like they're the elite in their groups. And so they go on dates and they're having the same kind of discussions that they would have in the boardroom, in the dating arena or in their marriage, and it's just not like something's missing. They feel like something's missing, and the man definitely feels like something's missing because he has those discussions with everyone else. So when we work together and I switch them to be in their body and get more of that emotional response. And the funny thing is, it's really easy as a woman to get that emotional response as a woman. It's really, really easy because it's in your energy, it's in your body. You actually have to work a lot less. You have to work so much less, but we're so used to working hard for things, right? Like I have to put in so much effort, so much efforting. So when you are just in your heart space, you're in your body, your presence changes. I have shown this to you guys many, many times. I've seen this in my clients when they come in, it's a lot of their energy is like right here. And then by the third session, fourth session, right? It's like in their body and their presence changes. What presence means is that you are less dense and more energy and people can feel your heart. It's like you're engaging with the field versus like in a thought bubble located here, thinking about what you have to think. Your eyes change, the energy coming from your body changes, your gestures change, your voice changes naturally. Now, a lot of people that come to feminine energy, they try to change all these outside aspects, hoping that the internal will change, but it actually works a lot better the other way around. Like I can try to fake a feminine voice, or I can simply just be grounded in my body and let whatever natural voice and energy that I am just kind of come from me, right? So it's a very different embodiment. So let's talk a little bit about what we do to kill that emotional intimacy. Anytime we criticize a man for having his political beliefs or why he chose a certain career or what his family does or whatever, that now you've put him in his head, he has to defend himself. So in that moment, you've lost the emotional connection. This is one of those really interesting things because you guys know I am a big fan. My husband and I watch Married at First Sight, which is this Lifetime show about arranged marriages in the United States, chosen by experts. And we're on season 13. And one of the things that's been quite fascinating to both of us, my husband and I, has been the things that couples discuss. I know that typically couples will discuss this in dating because I work with a lot of clients that are dating. But even in after marriage, I remember halfway through, like I think about like season 5, we both looked at each other and we were like, is there something wrong with us? Because we did not discuss or make a big deal about any of the things that are recurring patterns on the show. Things that couples argue about, fight over, sorry about that, judge in the other person, make wrong for believing. We just didn't, that's not a thing for both of us. And so that's been quite interesting for me because as an expert on emotional intimacy, evolution, relationships, what I've learned is that we have trained ourselves to try to fix the other person's thinking and their beliefs versus really just accepting and showing up with curiosity and letting the thing play out, letting it be. So if you know the deepest core human needs, you would realize that most conversations are basically just wrestling each other's basic human needs. What human beings need, all human beings, men, women, children, elderly, is to be seen and accepted, feel like they belong for who they are. Seen, accepted, loved, like they belong for who they are. So when you show up on a date arguing about political beliefs, he's seeing this on an attack on who he is and his belief systems. In the long run, I have no idea why this even matters in relationships, the things people argue about, favorite restaurants, cleanliness, like the cleaning of the house, where people are going to live. Like yes, these are little blips of information that you're receiving, But in a 50, 60, 70-year relationship, you're going to change your mind many times. You're going to move many times. You're going to make many decisions together that single-handedly don't mean anything, but together just create this beautiful life experience. But most people can't get past like, oh, this person has different beliefs than I do. This person has different viewpoints, right? So the things that I find people, even the experts on Married at First Sight, like the things that they're questioning people about, some of those things are important. Most of them are not. Most of them are not. So it's really interesting. If I was creating a show like this, or if I was on a show, I would actually coach people on the number one single most thing that will be either destroying the marriage or taking it to the next level. And that is the couple's ability to grow their container. That's it. That's all you need to be able to go to the next level, because you could have all the right values. You could, which values are very, very important, by the way, but you can have all the right values. We've seen this repeatedly on the show and still self-sabotage the whole thing because of your triggers, because of your reactiveness to the triggers, because of your container issues that emerge because you don't believe you're worthy of this relationship. In fact, the better match the opposite person is, the person in front of you, the more you're likely to self-sabotage the relationship. Because it's too good to be true, right? Like you don't believe you're worthy of it. So this is something I'm very passionate about. I can talk for hours and hours and hours, if not days, on this topic. But your number one responsibility is to work with your own triggers and your inner work so you can understand what other human beings need. Everyone wants to be seen and accepted for who they are. These little things about what sports people like, or how cleanly or organized people are, none of this stuff actually matters in the long run. It's not going to get the emotional reaction. You criticizing him for who he believes himself to be, which again is just a persona that he's created, like we've all created, the ego, the program, is not going to help you create an emotional reaction from him. It's not. Your number one job in dating is to be in your body, in your presence, and enjoy the experience. Watch it unfold. That's it. It's not to get him to believe in your belief systems, get him to change his mind. None of that. None of that is your responsibility. Okay. So I have tons of programs on, and even in the 90-day relationship rehab, modern day rotational dating, all of these programs, I bring up this concept of getting the gut level emotional response, because if you fail to do this, you'll end up in a transactional relationship where it's like, yeah, I really like her. And like, I'm really happy we built this life together, but there's always this but. There's always like something's missing. You don't feel each other's heart. There's always this mental to mental relating. Oh, I have to share something. I have an appointment I have to run for, get my nails done, but I have to share this with you guys. Like I used to wonder if you ask a man, like, why did you marry her? Like, why did you fall in love with her? Or like anyone's asking anyone, I used to see that the people that were really in love struggled to answer that question. And the people that had talked themselves into it spit out this like thing of like, well, like this, and this, and this, right? It seemed like they had convinced themselves into it. And the reason for this is because when you fall in love with someone, it's heart to heart. There's no like reason. There's no like, well, she has a PhD and I like the car that she drives. And I think that she'll be a good mother someday. Like, it's not going to be that kind of a laundry list. It's just they're actually going to struggle a little bit. Like I remember like when my husband, he proposed in 2 weeks and we were married in 2 months. And anytime anyone would ask him this question, like, how did you know in 2 weeks? Like, how did you fall in love with her so quickly? He struggled to answer that because he connected with my heart. And so he would come up with these, like, he has the standard answer that he gives to everyone. He's like, she has the heart, the face, and the brains, like that, the looks, it's like the beauty, brains, and the heart. But he always gets comfortable because when it's a heart-to-heart thing, your mind is not involved in it. I'm sharing this because I think this will help you see. If a guy shows up on a date or many dates and he proposes because he connected with you intellectually, then the answer will be very intellectual, very much transactional. Oh, she has a good job and we can make a good living and we can build together. Like, it's like a very like, I convinced myself into it because she looks good on paper kind of a vibe. Well, nothing's wrong with that. But at the end of the day, like, you're going to want something more, right? Like, I believe this is what my grandmother used to say. And after helping thousands of women attract their soulmates, improve their relationships, change their lives, I still stand by this. You will have a way more successful relationship and life experience if the guy loves the woman more. I stand by this to this day. I learned this when I was a little child, but I'm telling you, this couldn't be more true. Because when he has that gut level emotional reaction, he's gonna want to make you happy and just give you the world. That's why arguing about where you're gonna live doesn't matter. I don't argue about anything with my husband. I just stay in my heart and I let him know what I desire and I let him choose the thing that he believes in. And 99.9% of the time, he will go with the thing that I want anyways. Why? Because I know how to invoke that gut level reaction. This is a man in love. He wants to make me happy. So arguing about ridiculous things and trying to duke it out and change each other's mind, fruitless. I tell my clients, let him agree with what he's saying, show him your desire, and he'll give you the thing anyways, because you've gotten the gut level reaction. Women who don't know how to get the gut level reaction, you better become an expert at negotiation then, because you will be negotiating and arguing, and might as well do that then. It will always be this, who's going to win this argument? And one person's always resentful because they feel like you won, right? No. In this work, you let your desire be his idea. I hope this was useful. Oh, one more thing. The Femme Fortune Container course is linked in the description box. It is life-changing, earth-shattering. I highly recommend it. It's one of my absolute favorite courses that I've ever created, and I have like 30. So it's a game changer. It's linked in the description box. And today, Friday, September 3rd, is the last day to get the pre-launch price on the Conscious Couture Coaching program. This live intensive is happening on September 10th. The amazing thing about this, not only the content that will be provided in there, but that when you purchase this, you get the Femme Fortune content for free. It's included in there because I believe it's a foundational for you to be able to be a good coach. So if you want to coach people from a conscious, really embodied place, if you also want to go deeper in your own inner work and you want to, heal the collective from your overflow and ovarian power, like I like to say, then this is the program for you. So all of this is linked in the description box. All of my relationship courses, Femme Fortune, Conscious Coaching. I love you guys. I got to go get my nails done now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.